The tablets given to Moses weren't merely inscribed on their surfaces. Ancient traditions and interpretations reveal that each divine letter was carved completely through the stone, making the writing miraculously legible from both the front and the back, a detail far more profound than it first appears. It's a secret woven into the very fabric of Scripture and commentary that illuminates not just the nature of the commandments, but the very essence of divine communication. Imagine for a moment the scene on Mount Sinai, a place shrouded in fire and cloud, echoing with the sound of a shofar. Moses ascends not once but twice to receive the divine word. The common image we hold is of two flat slabs of stone engraved with 10 commandments on their face. Yet, the biblical text itself, in Exodus 32:15, offers a subtle but stunning clue. The tablets were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written. This phrase, often glossed over, ignited centuries of profound contemplation among ancient sages and mystics. What could "on both their sides" possibly mean beyond simple back-to-back writing? Early rabbinic commentaries, delving into the precise Hebrew phrasing, began to unpack an extraordinary understanding. They proposed that the letters were not merely etched onto the surface, but somehow infused into the very core of the stone, passing entirely through it. This wasn't some primitive form of translucent material. It was a physical impossibility, a miracle of divine craftsmanship that defied natural laws. Consider the Hebrew alphabet. Many letters are completely enclosed, like the Samech, seen, or the Mem Sulfit, which is a closed square. If these letters were carved completely through the stone, their inner parts, the stone within the circle or square, would simply fall out, leaving a hollow cutout. Yet, the tradition insists these inner sections remained miraculously suspended. This impossible suspension of stone within stone becomes the central enigma. How could the detached inner core of a letter like a Samech remain floating, defying gravity and the natural properties of the material? It's a question that pushes us beyond the physical, into the realm of the truly miraculous. This wasn't just skilled carving, it was a divine act that bent reality. The very substance of the tablets became a testament to the omnipotence of the giver of the law. It implies a kind of unified, seamless existence for each letter, where front and back, inside and outside, were fundamentally connected and sustained by an unseen force. The implications of this physical miracle resonate deeply with the philosophical and mystical understanding of the Torah. If the letters were legible from both sides, it suggests that the divine truth they contained was inherently transparent, accessible from every conceivable angle and perspective. There was no hidden backside to the law, no secret interpretation that contradicted the visible one. It signifies an ultimate unity and coherence in God's Word, where even what appears to be disparate or contradictory on the surface ultimately resolves into a singular, all-encompassing truth. The law was not something superficial applied to the world. It was inherent within the world. This profound characteristic wasn't just a physical curiosity. It became a cornerstone for understanding the very nature of creation. Ancient mystical texts, particularly those associated with Kabbalah, elaborate on the idea that the Hebrew letters are not mere symbols, but the actual building blocks of the universe. The 22 letters are said to be the fundamental forces through which God created everything from nothing. If these very letters, when inscribed on the tablets, could defy physical laws, it reinforces the idea that they possess an inherent supernatural power. The tablets, in this sense, were a microcosm of creation itself, demonstrating the divine hand in every atomic particle. Think of the burden, the immense weight of understanding placed upon Moses. He descended from the mountaintop carrying not just commandments, but a piece of sustained miracle in his hands. Each letter, defying physics, would have been a constant, tangible reminder of the infinite power behind the words. It wasn't just a message he held, but a demonstration of the power of the sender. What kind of awe, what kind of trembling reverence would such an object inspire in anyone who saw it or even just knew of its properties? It would elevate the concept of law from a mere set of rules to a living, breathing, reality-bending force. However, this miraculous first set of tablets met a tragic end. Moses, descending from the mountain, witnessed the people worshiping the golden calf. In a fit of divine fury, and perhaps a human one too, he shattered the tablets at the foot of the mountain. What did it mean for a vessel of such impossible craftsmanship to be broken? The Midrash, a collection of rabbinic interpretations, suggests that when Moses saw the idol worship, the letters themselves, those miraculously suspended entities, flew off the tablets, leaving behind mere inert stone. It was only then, devoid of their divine spark, that they could be broken. This act of the letters flying away further cements their unique supernatural nature. They were not bound by the stone. The stone merely served as their temporary container. The true essence of the commandments, the divine instruction, could not be destroyed by human failings or shattered stone. It was eternal, ungraspable by physical destruction. It simply ascended, awaiting a new vessel. This explanation provides a profound theological justification for why such an infinitely precious object could be destroyed without diminishing the sanctity or permanence of the law itself. The law was not the stone, it was the Word. Moses was then commanded to carve a second set of tablets, this time from stone that he himself hewed. On these, God again inscribed the Ten Commandments. The question then naturally arises, did these second tablets possess the same miraculous, through-and-through writing? The ancient sources are divided, and deliberately so. Some commentaries suggest that the second set, while still divinely inscribed, lacked the impossible physical miracle of the first. They were profound, sacred, but perhaps more aligned with natural laws, a concession to humanity's fallen state and a reminder of what was lost. Other traditions, however, maintain that the miracle persisted, that even the second set bore the impossible floating letters. This debate highlights a deeper theological point. Was the divine relationship, once broken, ever truly restored to its original perfect state? Or did humanity's failure introduce a subtle, permanent shift, even in the very vessels of divine communication? The ambiguity itself serves as a powerful lesson, inviting continuous reflection on the nature of repentance, forgiveness, and the enduring impact of human choice on the divine covenant. For those who believe the miracle continued, the second set of tablets, despite being hewn by human hands, became re-infused with that same divine power, demonstrating God's capacity for complete restoration. It implies that even after the greatest betrayal, the potential for ultimate supernatural connection remains. The enduring presence of the miraculously sustained letters on the second tablets would then be a testament not just to divine power, but to divine grace and boundless forgiveness, a constant reminder that the impossible is still possible through divine will, even after human failure. This idea of writing that permeates through and through isn't unique to the tablets. The imagery resonates with various mystical concepts. Consider the notion of the Book of Life, or the idea that God's thoughts are inscribed within the very fabric of existence. The tablets become a tangible, albeit miraculous, representation of this deeper truth, that divine wisdom is not external to reality, but deeply embedded within it, influencing and sustaining everything. Every atom, every star, every blade of grass, in a sense, carries the imprint of these divine letters. When ancient texts speak of the tablets, they often use terms that evoke light and fire. The letters were not merely ink on parchment, but said to be black fire on white fire. This imagery further disconnects them from ordinary physical inscription. Black fire on white fire implies an ethereal, spiritual substance, something that transcends the material yet is capable of interaction with it. This description helps explain how such letters could defy physics, for they were not entirely of the physical realm to begin with. They were a bridge, a nexus point, where the spiritual met the material in a tangible form. The other side of the tablets, therefore, wasn't just a mirror image of the front, nor was it simply blank. It was a visible manifestation of divine omniscience and omnipresence. It meant that no matter where you stood, no matter what perspective you held, the truth of the commandments was fully present, fully legible, and fully consistent. There was no hidden side to God's law that could be used for deceit or misinterpretation. It was a truth that pervaded all dimensions, accessible from every direction, signifying an absolute and unchanging reality. This ancient teaching serves as a powerful counterpoint to modern skepticism and relativism. In a world where truth often feels fluid and subjective, the tablets, with their miraculously legible two sides, stand as a symbol of objective, foundational truth. They proclaim that there are certain principles, certain divine laws that are inherent, unchanging, and accessible to all who seek them, regardless of their vantage point. They are not constructs of human society, but emanations from the very source of existence. Emanations from the very source of existence. This isn't just poetic flourish. It speaks to a fundamental difference in the nature of these divine laws compared to any human decree. Our laws, our truths, are often products of negotiation, compromise, and a constantly shifting cultural landscape. They are constructed piece by painstaking piece, often bearing the fingerprints of human fallibility and bias. But the truths etched on those tablets, manifesting from all sides, were something else entirely. They were not derived from reality, they defined it. They didn't reflect an existing moral order, they constituted it in a way that implies an inherent, self-evident authority. Imagine, if you will, the very fabric of the cosmos woven not from inert space and time, but from these principles. The divine law isn't a set of rules imposed upon creation, but rather the foundational grammar of existence itself. It's like the fundamental laws of physics. Gravity doesn't suggest how objects fall, it is how they fall. In the same way, the commandments, as depicted in their multi-sided, dynamic inscription, weren't just prohibitions or instructions, but insights into the very operating system of a flourishing life, built into the universe from its inception. This isn't just about what is right or wrong, it's about what is, in the deepest, most ontological sense. The black fire on white fire description, therefore, takes on an even deeper significance. It's not merely a magical ink, it's the very energy of creation, a living, vibrating testament. Fire, in many ancient traditions, is a symbol of transformation, purification, and divine presence. Black fire, an apparent paradox, hints at a depth beyond light, a foundational, unmanifest energy from which all manifestation springs. White fire, its luminous counterpart, represents the active, revealed aspect. Together, they suggest a ceaseless, dynamic interplay between the hidden and the revealed, the potential and the actual. These letters weren't static symbols, they were alive, pulsating with the very breath of the divine, constantly representing their truth, adjusting their visibility and legibility not by changing their essence, but by dynamically interacting with the observer's presence. Consider the profound implications of this. A truth so dynamic, so alive, that it was accessible from any angle, any perspective. This isn't a concept we readily grasp in our linear cause and effect world. We're accustomed to seeing one side of a coin, one facet of a gem, one angle of a story. Our perception is inherently limited by our physical vantage point and our cognitive filters. We wrestle with ambiguity, with conflicting narratives, with the frustrating elusiveness of objective reality. We often assume that to gain a new perspective means abandoning an old one, or at least acknowledging its incompleteness. But the tablet suggested something radically different, a truth so complete, so integral, that every angle offered full access, without diminishing or contradicting other angles. It was the ultimate holographic truth, where every fragment contained the whole. Why then is this astonishing detail so frequently overlooked? Perhaps because it challenges our most fundamental assumptions about knowledge itself. It demands a leap of imagination that many find too disorienting. To truly absorb the meaning of legible from all sides is to confront the limitations of our own minds, trained as they are to dissect, to categorize, to focus on one thing at a time. We want to see the front, then turn it over to see the back. The idea that both are simultaneously and perfectly visible, always, from any point of observation, requires a recalibration of our mental faculties. It's easier to simply dismiss it as a hyperbolic description, a poetic flourish, than to grapple with its profound epistemological implications. We skip it because it's too big, too encompassing for our conventional mental frameworks. It asks us to consider a reality where information isn't hidden but simply is, pervading everything, waiting for a consciousness attuned enough to perceive its omnipresence. Imagine Moses descending from the mountain, carrying these extraordinary objects. He wasn't just carrying stone tablets, he was carrying a physical manifestation of a multidimensional truth. Did he perceive this dynamic quality? Did he understand the deeper implications of the black fire on white fire beyond the literal miracle? Perhaps his profound encounter with the divine on Mount Sinai had expanded his consciousness to a point where he could glimpse this higher reality, even if only for a time. For him, the tablets might not have been mere objects, but windows into the very mind of God, reflecting a truth so pure it transcended physical space and time. It wouldn't have been a static "thou shalt not," but a vibrant, living principle, revealing its inherent order from every facet. This concept finds strange echoes in certain esoteric traditions and even in modern theoretical physics, though through entirely different lenses. Consider the idea of a holographic universe, where every part contains information about the whole. Or the baffling entanglement of quantum particles, where two particles, separated by vast distances, remain instantaneously connected, sharing information as if they were never truly separate. While these are far from direct comparisons, they offer glimpses into a reality where our common sense notions of separateness, locality, and linear time begin to fray. The tablets, in their ancient wisdom, seem to hint at such a reality thousands of years before we had the language of quantum mechanics or string theory. They whispered of a universe where truths are not just written on things, but are the things themselves, existing in a state of absolute, omnipresent coherence. When we reduce the tablets to simple stone slabs with commandments written on two sides, we commit an act of profound intellectual and spiritual reductionism. We strip away the very essence of their unique divine provenance. We turn a living, dynamic revelation into a static artifact. This act of simplification is not benign, it has consequences. By ignoring this particular detail, we subtly diminish the grandeur of divine communication. We make God's law seem more like human law, something external, imposed, and potentially negotiable, rather than something intrinsic, foundational, and absolute. We lose the sense of wonder, the awe, at a form of communication that defies all our known limits. And in doing so, we unwittingly make it easier for ourselves to question, to relativize, to dismiss. The psychological impact of truly embracing a truth that is legible from all sides is immense. It can be both comforting and terrifying. Comforting because it implies an ultimate order, a cosmic coherence where nothing is truly hidden and all truth is ultimately accessible. There is no corner of existence where divine law does not apply, no shadow where justice cannot penetrate. It offers a profound sense of security in an often chaotic world. But it can also be terrifying, for it leaves no room for evasion, no dark recesses for self-deception. If the truth of the commandments is always and everywhere present, then our own transgressions, our own moral compromises are also always and everywhere exposed, not just to an external judge, but to the very fabric of reality itself. It's a call to absolute integrity, an invitation to live in complete alignment with these foundational principles, knowing that there is no other side to hide from. It demands an identity forged in unwavering honesty, not just with others, but with the deepest structures of existence. So, how do we in our modern world train ourselves to perceive truth from all sides? It begins, perhaps, with cultivating a deeper sense of presence and an openness to ambiguity. It means resisting the urge to prematurely categorize, to reduce complex realities to simple binaries. It involves listening to multiple perspectives, not just to debate or refute, but to genuinely understand the underlying principles that might unite them. It's about developing an inner stillness that allows us to perceive beyond the surface, to intuit the deeper coherence that often eludes our analytical minds. It's a spiritual exercise in perception, a conscious effort to move beyond our inherent biases and limited viewpoints, and to seek the underlying unifying truths that permeate all genuine expressions of reality. The tablets, long gone, perhaps residing in some forgotten vault or returned to the ether from which they came, continue to stand as an enduring symbol, not just of a set of rules, but of a profound metaphysical statement about the nature of truth itself. They challenge us to look deeper, to question our assumptions, to embrace a reality far more intricate and integrated than we commonly imagine. They hint at a divine communication not limited by human perception, but capable of revealing itself fully, perfectly, from every conceivable angle. Yet, even with this understanding, the mystery deepens. What would it truly feel like to hold such an object in one's hands? To witness the black fire on white fire, not as a metaphor, but as a living, tangible inscription? To know beyond a shadow of a doubt that every word, every letter was simultaneously accessible from every single point in space around it. And what other forms of divine communication, equally profound and equally defying our limited understanding, might also exist, waiting to be rediscovered if only we learn to look with new eyes and truly embrace the details everyone skips? This isn't merely about sharpening our sight, but a fundamental recalibration of our entire interpretive apparatus. Imagine a symphony where we've only ever heard the single melody, oblivious to the counterpoint, the bass lines, the harmonies, the subtle rhythms, and the profound interplay that creates the true emotional tapestry. We hear a truth, perhaps, but not the truth in its staggering fullness. Ancient traditions, particularly those rooted in mystical introspection, spoke not of reading in our modern linear sense, but of meditating upon or entering into texts and symbols, recognizing them as living conduits of meaning, vibrant with unseen dimensions. Consider the intricate world of Kabbalistic thought, where the very letters of the Torah are not just symbols, but energetic vessels, each a world unto itself, pregnant with infinite permutations of meaning. For the initiated, the text wasn't a static collection of words, it was a multi-dimensional hologram. They didn't just read, they unpacked it, seeking numerical equivalences, acrostics, inversions, and an entire hidden grammar that revealed cosmic secrets, not just earthly decrees. Or think of the breathtaking complexity of Islamic calligraphy, where the beauty isn't solely in the legible word, but in the geometric balance, the exquisite negative space, the flowing lines that echo a deeper divine order. These are not just decorative art forms, they are perceived as gateways, visual incantations designed to open the mind to layers of reality often bypassed by conventional understanding. By simplifying divine communication into a purely linear cause and effect narrative, a straightforward set of instructions, we risk reducing the divine to a mere storyteller rather than the boundless, infinitely creative source of all existence. We strip away its poetry, its inherent mystery, its very essence. What if our entire perception of reality, particularly that concerning spiritual truths, has been filtered through a lens too narrow, too rigid to grasp the full spectrum of divine light? This isn't about finding some conspiratorial message hidden away by design, but rather recognizing that the plain message itself is but one accessible layer of a complex interwoven fabric, and that deeper dimensions are not concealed but simply overlooked because they demand a different mode of perception. The stakes are enormous. What are we missing by clinging to surface interpretations, by refusing to engage with the possibility of layered truth? Perhaps nothing less than a fuller, richer, more integrated experience of reality itself. A deeper connection not just to the source, but to the intricate dance of creation that unfolds around us every moment. It's a call to humility, to acknowledge the limitations of our own sensory and intellectual apparatus, and to cultivate a receptivity that transcends the immediate and the obvious. If this is true, then how do we begin to relearn how to see? How do we deprogram ourselves from centuries of reductionist thinking, which often prizes clarity and simplicity above all else, even at the cost of profundity? How do we re-engage with the wisdom traditions that taught precisely this multi-layered seeing? And what profound, world-altering insights might be waiting not in some distant, forgotten tome, but in the very scriptures we claim to know by heart, in the sacred texts we've read countless times, if only we dare to look for the fire beyond the ink, for the dimensions beyond the plane, for the details everyone skips.
Perhaps it's a call to attune ourselves to the whisper between the lines, to the silence that frames revelation, much like ancient scribes would intentionally leave spaces for divine ingress. To perceive the underlying harmony, the cosmic song that vibrates beneath the narrative, transforming mere accounts into living parables. This isn't about decryption. It's about re-engaging with text as gateways, not just records, where meaning unfolds not through linear logic, but through an intuitive recognition of sacred geometry and intertwined truth. And in this journey, what if we find that the other side isn't a separate message at all, but rather the very essence of the first, seen with awakened eyes? To contemplate this unique detail, often overlooked in the biblical narrative, is to engage with a profound mystery. It's to ask ourselves, what else in the sacred text have we perhaps dismissed as mere metaphor when the ancient commentators saw a deeper, miraculous reality? What hidden dimensions of divine truth might still be waiting to be unveiled, simply by taking the text at its most literal, yet impossibly profound word? The tablets of the law, with their floating letters visible from both sides, beckon us to look beyond the superficial, beyond our conventional understanding of reality. They challenge us to consider a universe where divine intervention is not an exception, but an intrinsic aspect of creation, where the very fabric of existence hums with the echo of divine intention. What does it mean for our lives today, knowing that the very foundation of ethical living was given to humanity through such an impossible, glorious artifact? What further secrets about the nature of divine communication and the fabric of reality might still be hidden in plain sight, simply waiting for us to truly see the detail everyone else skips?